My name is Rick from Estimating Online, and I'm going to provide you with an overview of the Elemental Estimate, which is our estimation that we have produced to produce a final construction cost. Inside this program, you will find features that no other estimating company has released. And the goal of this estimation is to produce a final construction price that we can submit to the client and feel comfortable with budgets. We've built a lot of features over the last 6 months, and what we're trying to do is make estimating easier. There's a lot of confusion in the industry that estimating is hard and estimating is complex and usually seen as a chore. Well, we want to make it easy and we want to make it customizable for builders. So I'm going to run through with you today some of our tools, tips and processes that we've built with the Elemental Estimate, and hopefully you guys find it useful. First of all, what we're required to do when we set up an estimation is punch in our details in the project information. We're then required to enter build details. For example, we're going to ask ourselves a question: what's the specification? What type of builder are we? Now, what type of builder are you? What that means is how you are charged from your trades and your suppliers. It has nothing to do with what type of houses you build, it's how you are charged. This whole program is built around how you are charged. As we go further into this estimation, we have what we call a price library. Inside of our price library is where we keep all our construction recipes. Inside this system, you will find a minimum of 4,000 construction recipes to be able to make the best decision on what needs to go into your project. As you see here, as I'm clicking out on all the information, there is lots of questions that is going to prompt you to read the plan to make the best decision on what goes inside your project that you're estimating. For example, as we go into the electrical, we get to choose how many downlights we're on. Now, what you will notice inside of our system is there is no takeoff plans. So you will need an external program to work out the quantities. But as we go through and do this estimation and we work out the quantities, we're not taking our hand off the mouse. That is the ultimate goal of what we're trying to achieve. We believe it speeds up our estimating time, and we can sit back in the chair and do our estimating and make it life really easy. You will notice that we have pendant A, pendant B, pendant C. This is allowing us to put in different types of pendants inside the estimation. And then when we follow it through to the bill of quantities, you will be able to change the price of pendant A, pendant B, pendant C. Another challenge that we've done in estimating is separating costings room by room. So what we have is we have the quantities for the kitchen, and then we go into the laundry with the quantities, and then we go into the bathrooms for quantities, balconies, outdoors. All this information is provided. On the right hand side, we will see a table that has the final construction cost, and then we go down into the supply and labor costings. These are our subtotals for trades and suppliers. If I click out on plumbing fixtures, we're going to see how much money we've spent in the bathroom. We're going to see how much money we've spent in the ensuite, laundry, and the kitchen. These are all settings for us to be able to advise the client where the money's been spent. We can go into the carpentry, see the carpentry budgets. We can go into the windows and see the actual windows budget. We have another feature of markup and contingency. This is where we control the trade pricings. For example, we found that the bricklayer on this project was going to be facing some challenges, so we put up more markup and more contingency inside of our estimation. If the project was quite simple, we probably won't need as much markup and as much contingency. So if you look on the right hand side here, I have $49,000 for my bricklayer, which is maximum markup and maximum contingency. I'm going to reduce that. Now my budget has gone down to $35,000, and now we are expecting minimum charges. The electrical budget, the tiling budget, the floor coverings. But this is not where the magic is. The magic is when we press show BOQ. When we show the BOQ, we're going to be able to see all the quantities and all the rates used to form the estimation. For example, when we click out on the concrete, you're going to have a breakdown of the supply of the concrete, and you're going to see the reinforcement. We're going to break down how many concrete pumps. We're going to go down into the bricklayer and see the rate for the bricklayer. One of the interesting features that we've done in Estimating Online is you can change the complexity really easy. If I change the complexity on the right hand side, as you see me clicking down, the price will change if I change it to low. I can then go into the individual line item and I can change the price per brick by using the plus sign and the negative sign. Now let's say the homeowner is a bricklayer and he wants to do his own bricklaying. We're going to advise the homeowner that there is a credit of $30,000 in the contract for you because you're doing the bricklaying. But what we could possibly do if we don't want to credit them at final account is we can take bricklaying out. So if I press the reset to 0, the price goes away. If I hit the refresh button, the price goes back in. We're going to expand out on the ensuite bathroom, kitchen, laundry pricing. Here's your breakdown for the appliances. Here's your breakdown for the troughs and taps. Here's your breakdown for the basins. It's all in the system, easy to use. So that's your basic overall functions of the system. Now I want to show you some of the increased features that we have in our program. We want to give you the ability to lock the costings. So for example, if you are happy with that concrete budget, you press the lock button and then the costings will lock, and you can't use any of the features inside the system because it's locked. Because we haven't locked the concrete slab, I can change the costings. But if I go back into the system, I press the lock button, we can lock it, and now we can't adjust it because we've fixed that price. If we have a situation where we've got a carpentry quotation, what we can do, reset the whole system back to 0 for carpentry. We can add in one line item, say quotation. $85,000, hit save. Now we've put $85,000 in, we're going to lock it, and that's our budget completed. We have features where we have ensuite tiling. If we hit the edit button, we can change the unit of measure to say PC. We go into the air conditioning, we're going to change that to PS. Another feature that we've got inside of our system that we have just released is we can now give you the ability to change the construction prices that go inside the system. So for example, if you buy plasterboard at $8.60, that's fine, you leave it as is. But if you always buy plasterboard at $10, what we can do is we can copy the product code. I'm going to open a new tab, and then I'm going to go to my custom editor and I'm going to go to my rate settings. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to populate the rates code and I'm going to hit search. If I click edit and I change all these rates to $10, then I hit update. Every time I do an estimation that aligns with that product code, it will be $10. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my estimation. I'm going to go back into my BOQ. I'm going to go to my plasterer. And now you will see that that product code, PLA1300, is now always $10. Another feature that we've aligned inside of Estimating Online is we can give you the ability to change the headings. So inside of our BOQ, we have a heading called bricklayer. If you call it 6522 bricklayer, what you can actually do is you can go back into our system, you hit rename heading, 6522 space bricklayer. I'm going to hit update. Then I'm going to go back to my BOQ. If I close that off and I refresh my BOQ, you will see that my bricklayer description now says 6522. I'm going to go one step further. Let's say you have completed your estimation, you want to upload it to your project management software. In the top right hand corner, we have a download button. The download button talks about what program you want to export it to. Let's say you want to export to Buildertrend. When I open that up, what we're going to see is the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet that is ready to export into Buildertrend. We've got these exports set up for multiple different platforms, and as you can see in my drop down in the top right hand corner, there's your answers. Last feature I want to show with you guys is client mode. We want builders to prepare the estimation and sit with the client face to face about the final construction costings. Usually, I don't believe the preliminary should be shown to the client. I don't believe the client should see the staffing costings, and I don't believe the client should see what the builder's hidden costings are. If we press the negative button in the top right hand corner, all those features will disappear. Then if I press the lock button, the client won't be able to press that button to be able to see those costings. They will need to know a PIN code to be able to unlock it, to be able to see it. I also believe that we should be locking the structural elements of the build where the client doesn't have access to change all this information, but I believe the client should be able to go into the electrical and you can sit with the client face to face and change the lighting budget. Low specification, medium specification, high specification. You will find clients will appreciate this and it's going to improve your business. That's a quick overview of our Elementor estimate by Estimating Online. We are trying to increase the functions to make your life easier. We also have printing functions, so you can print a fancy PDF that is in your custom format. Book a demo, happy to help you, and hopefully we can hear from you soon.